Going somewhere?
What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. So today I'm just going to be talking a little bit more about episode 6 of Ahsoka, and I just want to talk about Baylan and Shin a little more in detail because we got to learn a lot of new things about these characters, and it really just expands our understanding of where these characters have come from and what makes them think the way they do now. Truthfully, I don't feel like they're fully consumed by the dark side. And especially Shin, because there was some moments in this episode that really stood out to me, things that really seemed to bother Shin. And I also have a theory about Shin that I will share with you guys at the end of this video, but for now, let's just talk about the facts. So basically, it starts off with Shin and Baylan talking at the top of the mountain, where Baylan is referring to tales and dreams of certain stories, where Shin says that she knows no such stories, and he's referring to the ones they were told in the Jedi Temple. And Shin was not from the Jedi Temple. She wasn't born during the time before Order 66. And he is referring to the stories that he was told in the Jedi Temple. The younglings were told the stories of Peridia, and that is a place for new beginnings. And so he truly believes that there's a new beginning waiting for him here on this planet. And he goes on to tell her that whenever he was just a few years older than she was, he watched the Jedi Temple burn in front of him, and he saw the fall of the Republic and the rise of the Empire. And Baylan does seem to be sad whenever he is telling her this story. He says that he is just so tired of the same things happening over and over again, and it's just a perpetual cycle that he wants to end. And I also really enjoyed these conversations between Shin and Baylan because it really just helps us understand them more, and you can clearly tell that Shin is just so curious to know where people like her come from. Shin goes on to ask her master who is the one that they search for so badly, and he says his name is Ezra Bridger, and he was trained after the fall of the Jedi. And she says, like me, because she wants to know more about herself and other Force wielders. Baylan then tells her that no, Ezra Bridger was trained to be a Jedi, and I trained you to be much more than that. Which is very interesting to me because she seems very trained in the Jedi arts, and she also wears a Padawan braid, which no dark side users ever wear. So that's also interesting. Shin then goes on to say, do you miss the Jedi Order? And her master says, I miss the idea of it, but there was no future there. Where Shin says, and yet you see a future here in this wasteland? And she said, the others here seem eager to leave, maybe we should too. I also get the idea that Shin really doesn't care about Thrawn or even Morgan Elsbeth. I don't think she's ever liked her, to be honest, even since the beginning of the series. So when I started seeing a big shift in Shin in this episode was whenever Thrawn was talking to her and Baylan, and he said for them to follow Sabine and Ezra, and if they find them, to kill them. And so Shin had a very big problem with this. She did not like the idea of her master not keeping his word, so she actually spoke out to him saying, I thought you were to keep your word. So you can really see that something set off Shin in this moment. I really don't think she likes this, and I don't believe she trusts them either, especially when they just refer to them as mercenaries, because in Shin's mind, they're more than that. And Shin really doesn't speak much, especially in front of Morgan and Thrawn. She usually just talks to her master, but for the most part, Shin speaks with her eyes and her mannerisms, and you could just really tell that she doesn't like this. But now talking about my theory, I really believe that Shin is going to turn back to the light side. I'm almost positive that she's going to turn. And I believe she's going to team up with Ezra and Sabine and Ahsoka. I'm also thinking that perhaps Baylan will end up dying in one of the last two episodes, toward the finale, and I believe that Shin will go off with Ahsoka and Sabine. But man, I seriously love these characters. I love Shin and Baylan, and I would literally love it if we ever got a book that could talk more about their stories and stuff. They're that compelling. They are literally such interesting characters. But be sure to drop some comments below this video, you guys, because I really want to keep talking about this theory and us having further discussions about this. And, I hope to hear from y'all and talk to y'all in the comments. But please be sure to give this video a like. I would really appreciate that, you guys. And I work really hard on these videos, so I would just appreciate that. And please be sure to subscribe if you haven't done so already, so you can catch more Star Wars content coming very soon.